Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. Today I'm going to talk about some of the confidence baits that I have and things that I throw in the month of August. August is a tough month, especially for guys like me. If you're a guy that likes to fish shallow most of the time, the month of August and September can be really rough on you. Water's probably the hottest it'll be all year long. There's a ton of traffic on the water, and it really makes for some of the, it could be some of the toughest fishing of the year. I'm going to keep my bait selection this month again on the river fishing because that's what I'm doing most of right now. I'm not fishing anymore. I haven't been fishing any lakes or reservoirs since June, and probably for the next couple of months it'll be that way. I'll probably be in the rivers more than I will be at the lakes, at least until this fall. So before I get started, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate it. And also at the end of this video, leave me some comments as to the things that you lean on the most in the month of August. If you're river fishing, the baits and techniques that you like to fish with to help you get through the tough month of August. Like I said, these are things that they're a little bit different than what I've, than a lot of the previous months, and some of them are the same because if you're a shallow water fisherman and the things you got confidence in are the things you're going to lean on when times are, when the fishing is the toughest. And August and September next month as well going to be tough months. If you like the video, please hit that like button at the end. And like I said, if you would consider subscribing to the channel, I would appreciate it. I need something to drink. All right, let's start off with the bottom baits. My choices don't change much as far as technique when it comes to plastics. I will say that I will put a drop shot in a little more in August. One thing I've always noticed, and maybe you've noticed this too, is a lot of times in the river, you got a lot of mucky bottom and a lot of, debris that's laying on the bottom of the river, and it could just be muddy. And a lot of times a bass does not like to go down into the muck when they're eating. So a lot of times if you can suspend your bait off the bottom a little, and there's different ways you can do that. Obviously the drop shot is one. So I will try and fish with a drop shot a little more. It's probably, honestly, a technique that I don't use enough already. I've never been a big fan of the spinning rod, but just like anything else, there's times when you gotta have it in your hand to have, to get bit, basically. So I will throw a drop shot a little more with a little finesse worm on it. Not the trick worm, but the smaller finesse worm. I guess it's a little over 5 inches long. This is black blue flake with a blue tail. I will rely on that a little bit more, the drop shot. And one rig that I've really been high on this year, I've talked a lot about, is a free rig. But I have found another bait that has been decent on the free rig, and especially when it's tough. And this is a little bait made out of a bait company in Florida, Bitter's Bug, it's called. The claws and stuff don't have a ton of action, but on the free rig, this is just a good little finesse approach when you're just trying to get bites. And when the water temperature is 85 to 90 degrees, a lot of days you're just trying to get bites. Sometimes you can get into a situation where you can run into a lot of bait. Now, the last video I did, I had a lot of topwater prop bait strikes, And that was because the area I went into was loaded with bait. Whenever you can find bait like that, now that's a different kind of scenario where you may be able to lean on some of the stuff you'd much rather throw, like a buzz bait or a whopper plopper or a prop bait. The weird thing that day was they would not touch a buzz bait and they wouldn't touch the whopper plopper. So I started fishing with the prop bait and boom, started to get bit. Once I tied that on, it kind of changed things and it was just a decent day. A lot of bites on the prop bait, and I caught one or two on a square bill as well. So, but when you get into a situation like that with bait, then you can, and you know there's bait in there, and the fish are actively feeding. It can change things up. And the water temperature that day was 85 and 90 degrees as well, and that was just 3 weeks ago. So now it's that hot, or maybe even hotter, especially around here. So, but yeah, as far as I got off on a little tangent about bait, but the little finesse worm on a drop shot or on the slider head that I talk about so often is a good little choice. And this little bitters bug is a good choice as well on the free rig. Just a couple of smaller options in the plastic that'll get you some bites. Something else that I've actually the last couple of years been throwing more often, and I haven't talked about a lot this year because I haven't really had a lot of situations yet where I've thrown it. But in August and September, pretty much everything is done spawning. Now in June and July, there was still a heavy bluegill spawn around here, and you could see them. That day that I was catching them with the prop bait, that last a couple of videos ago, there were bluegill spawning everywhere that day. When the water went down, I could see them. And something that I like to throw around whenever I see that, and a small choice for a bottom bait, is a little 1/4 ounce jig. Black and blue flash is what this is called, and I usually try to put green pumpkin. If I'm throwing a green pumpkin jig, I'll throw a black and blue trailer or a brown trailer, and if I'm throwing a black and blue jig or this black and blue flash, I'll put a green pumpkin or a watermelon colored trailer, depending on the color situation. I like the 1/4 ounce jig because it's easy to skip and it's easy to get into those places in the shade where you can get up tight to the cover where the fish should be. This is just a regular. This is a Money Maker Jig is the company. I recently ordered a bunch of these because the company I used to buy my little Arky style 1/4 ounce jigs from, I guess they went out of business because I haven't been able to locate them and haven't been able to get my hands on any more of them. So I started giving those a try, and so far I've been pleased with them. And this is a Dirty Jigs swim jig with a Berkeley the Deal on the back of it. It's just a little, I think it's chartreuse flash is the color. So these two little jigs is something I've started to throw around and skip around a lot, especially this time of the year when you're just trying to get, like I said, you're just trying to get bites. This is the Dirty Jigs 1/4 ounce swim jig, and this is the Money Maker Jig 1/4 ounce black and blue flash. And actually, it's something that I got away from. I used to keep a 1/4 ounce jig tied on all the time because you can do so much with it. You can skip it, you can fish it around grass, and it's a slow fall. It's not a real quick fall to it, so it may not be the best choice when you're fishing deep. But if you're fishing 6 foot of water or less, and you want a jig instead of plastic, it's something I used to do a lot of, and I got away from. I'm not sure why, but I've started trying to get it back into my rotation of baits again of things to use. Now, let's talk Topwater for a minute. Prop bait. This is the prop bait that I was using in that video I spoke of, where there was a lot of bait involved. And this is just an Academy bait, Academy Sports. I don't know if they still sell these. I think they do. They can be hard to get. I don't know why it is these stores. Bass Pro does the same thing. They'll come out with a bait that's a good fish catcher, and they stop making it. Probably because they're formed by somebody else, and that's got something to do with it. But it's got a little rattle in it. And this just happens to be river bluegill is the color. But this is what I was catching them on in that video a couple of videos ago. Anytime I got a situation where it's a lot of bait and they're chasing bait, they would not eat a buzz bait, they would not eat the whopper plopper, but you could see in the video, they were all over this. So I throw prop bait a lot too early in the morning when I'm trying to keep something close to the cover and not move it away too fast. A prop bait with a lot of short twitches sometimes will draw them up. And it's just a small bait, and it's compact and easy to get in tight places and easy to work out. Another one is a walking bait. I've shown you this bait before. This is a XPS line walking bait by the Bass Pro Shop sells. And this one I've used a lot, but I keep a walking bait on the deck too. And try to find the smallest size I can. Another one that works well, I didn't get one out, is a Lucky Craft gunfish. It's a lot more subtle and a lot less noisy than this one. This one's got a good knock in it, but it's just a bait you can cover water with. And if you got a little bit of current, a lot of times this is a good choice as well. Obviously, the other obvious choices, a buzz bait is one of them. I didn't get a buzz bait out because I was trying to come up with some different things to, some different things to show you guys that I fish with when some of the obvious stuff doesn't work. As far as a frog, this time of year you got to keep a frog on. And another choice selection is something else I use that's different, is the Strike King pad perch, and this is the popping perch. Makes a lot of good noise. This thing's easy to cast. Some of these frogs and these popping baits, especially the soft ones like this, can be difficult to cast. You can add some weight to them with BBs if you want, but this one's one that it's actually pretty easy to cast. And I'll throw these a lot around grass and pads. But that's another little topwater choice. It's a little different than most of the stuff I've talked about. August is just about trying to generate a bite. And if I pull around pads and I hear a lot of popping in the pads from bluegill and different things, and especially if you got a little bit of a breeze, that popping frog or popping perch is a little bit better choice to me anyway than just a regular frog that you would just pull along the surface and walking frog. I got to go to some crankbaits. I don't ever go fishing without throwing crankbaits. The obvious thing with the rivers is the tannic water. If it's muddy, you got to go with straight chartreuse a lot of times because it gets so dark and the water gets so turbid and muddy. If I just got the regular tannic watercolor, the little Strike King Sexy Shad's a color I like a lot. This is the little 1XS that dives 1.5 feet or less. If I'm ever fishing around any kind of pads or grass, or you see bass chasing bait in real shallow water, this is just something I always throw. I don't know how many fish I've caught over the years with this thing. It's just a dependable little bait in that kind of scenario. And one other Strike King bait, if I had one choice for 8 to 10 foot diving crankbait, especially this time of the year, and it would be the 3XD. I just do really well with this anywhere I go, and when I do crank in the river, it's usually the first thing I reach for. And there's a couple others too, but this one, if I had to choose one, it would be this. It's a small bait. It's not very big. It's actually the same body size as a 1XD. It's just got the 3X, 1XS, I mean. It's just got the 3XD lip on it. So you can see that they're pretty much the same body, just a little bit bigger lip. No, the gold square bill, gold shad it's called. It's just an awesome choice anytime you got tannic water, with or without a rattle. Another one that I throw a lot in the river that I don't know if I've talked about at all, is the small, tiny size Cordell. This is an old school bait, cotton Cordell Big O. This is the real tiny one. It dies about 4 foot on 12-pound line. Got a little rattle in it. That's a good little bait in the river. It's real small, compact, got good action to it. And the last two, this is the Ima Bill Owen square bill. Straight chartreuse with a little orange on the throat. And this is just a Bass Pro chartreuse with a brown black back. August is tough, man. It's a tough month. Your bait choices can sometimes start to get smaller. The bait's smaller, the water's hot, and the conditions are just not ideal at all. So it's just a matter of tying on stuff that you got the most confidence in, baits that you can cover shallow water with, and you can put the bait where you want it to be. And you can, sometimes it's multiple cast, sometimes it's just following shade, but August is just a tough month. And honestly, August and September are 2 months I don't fish a lot of tournaments. The conditions, and after you've been fishing tournaments from February to June, I kind of give myself a little break from the competition side of it in August and September, and sometimes the end of September. I'll start middle to end, I'll start the fishing derbies again. But these are just some baits that I think in the month of August can get you bites. The 2 jigs, a couple of different top waters, and like I said, the smaller plastics, Finesse worm, and the Bitters bug is a good choice for the free rig. So you can also, this is also, and I left this out, in the river I don't know if it will apply, this is also a good bait on a Ned rig. This little bait right here is awesome on a Ned rig. Now, throwing a Ned rig in the river, you might be asking for a little bit of trouble because you can stay hung up a lot with all the wood and all the hang-ups and all the thick and gnarly wood cover that you may have. But these are just some ideas, stuff you can throw in the month of August. I want to thank you guys for watching, and appreciate all the comments. And again, in the comments, leave me some of your August baits that you like to throw, things you like to throw and techniques you like to use in the month of August when fishing's tough like it is now. I appreciate it, and if you would, share this video if you like it with your buddies, and also like and subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a good day, and try and stay cool. It's getting hot out there, and I'll see you on the next one. Appreciate it, guys.